Hey, it's Erin. I'm here at Tallgrass Film Festival in Wichita, Kansas with Laurie Kahn. What is the film that you're presenting this weekend here at Tallgrass?
So my film is called Love Between the Covers, and it's about the huge global community, almost all women, who write, read, and love romance novels. So it's fun and it's funny and it packs a punch too. 90% of the people who read romance are women and 95% of the people who write them. And it's a multi-billion-dollar industry that's keeping publishing afloat. I mean, literary fiction wouldn't exist if it weren't for all the money that romance makes.
Wow.
And yet, and 75 million Americans read at least one romance a year. I mean, and most romance readers read many more than one a year. They'll read one a week. They'll read one a day. So it's a huge industry, and yet it gets totally dissed by everybody. I mean, people who I met and spoke with when I was doing the film told me that, like, a complete stranger will walk up to them on the beach or on a train and say, "Why do you read that trash?"
Oh my goodness.
And that would never happen to a man reading Stephen King or a fantasy or sci-fi. So it's really a film about how profoundly deep all of our gender biases are, both men and women. I mean, there are a lot of women who are like, "Oh, I would never read a romance novel," and they haven't read one in 30 years. So that's really what the film is about. But it's fun and it's funny, and the characters are nothing like what people expect. I mean, people think, oh, romance readers, they must be kind of lonely, pathetic people who are reading these books because they're living out their fantasies. I mean, they're so connected, and they're not who you think. So one of my main characters is a Shakespeare professor by day, romance author by night. Another one is a surgeon who writes lesbian romances. Another is an African-American romance writer who writes historicals, and she travels with her readers, and they go to the places where her books are set, and they know more African-American history than the guides who are showing them around. And they're tight. They're really tight. They're all talking to each other all the time.
Just out of curiosity, I do a sex podcast called Modern Sex where we talk about sex issues. And so I'm curious if there's a section of romance for gay men. Is there like a gay men romance? Because you said that most of the people who read this are women.
So this is another thing I didn't expect to find, which is that there's a growing and fairly large subgenre of male-male romance is what they call it. But it's mostly written by women for women. So the community is very female. And I mean that in the sort of best sense of the word. I mean, they say that they pay it forward. Lots of organizations say they pay it forward. And I was pretty amazed to find out they really do. I mean, mystery writers and sci-fi writers, you have to be published to even go to their conventions, their conferences. Romance Writers of America, it's like, you want to write? Come on in, sister. We'll show you how to do it. And experienced writers are teaching the wannabes how to negotiate their contract, how to do plotting, how to write a good knife fight, how to, do their social media effectively. I mean, it's pretty amazing. And everybody feels like somebody helped me out when I got started. And I'm going to turn around and help somebody behind me.
Has your film been shown so far? Yes.
Love Between the Covers, yes. So it started out at Toronto's Hot Docs Film Festival, and I've been doing, and then LA Film Festival, and I've been doing the whole circuit with the film, and it's nice. I mean, people really love, I mean, they laugh, and they're on the edge of their seats at times, and they really like the characters, and they don't expect to. I mean, a lot of people come into either it's the people who are part of the romance community who are just so revved that they're not being made fun of in this film.
Yeah.
Or it's people who just have never given it a second thought and are really surprised that they like these women as much as they do.
So Love Between the Covers has sort of opened their eyes to a subculture that they should be more open-minded to.
Yeah, and why is it that so many people have dissed romance novels when they don't diss mysteries?
Right.
I mean, people go, oh, they're so formulaic. Well, what about a mystery? Dead body at the beginning, solved by the end, guaranteed, right?
Exactly.
What about the things that guys like to do? Football games, sports games, that's formulaic too. You know, there's a lot of rules. You've got to do it by the rules, and at the end, someone's going to win. I mean, there's so many things in our culture that are formulaic, but it gets used as a way to sort of put down these books by women. And I think it's just because they're by women, for women, about women.
Would you say that there's the same sort of battle going on in film? Like, say, calling a film a chick flick in
Yes.
a derogatory way?
Absolutely. Same thing. Absolutely. But ironically, a lot of those chick flicks are by men that Hollywood makes. They're not written and directed by women, most of them.
That's what's really impressive about Love Between the Covers is that, and I'm shocked. I assumed it was a large population of men because we see it in films.
Right.
That's the character that we see in films is a man who writes women's
Right.
romance novels.
Right. Right.
And that seems like such a lie now.
Yeah.
To hear
Well,
that.
although Romancing the Stone had a female heroine who was a romance writer, but she fit every stereotype. She was sort of lonely, didn't have a love life, you know, would type these scenes and cry at her keyboard. You know, it was the sort of lonely, pathetic woman stereotype.
As opposed to just writing a story for the sheer enjoyment of
Right,
it.
right. But they've got
Incredible.
incredible deadlines. I mean, these women are, to succeed in this business, you really have to write, you know, sort of 2 to 4 novels a year. I
Wow.
mean, fat novels.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it. People say at the end of, you know, screenings, they go, "Oh, are you going to write a romance novel now?" And I'm like, I couldn't do it. Took me 4 years to make this film. I couldn't write, you know, 2 novels in 1 year. It's actually pretty remarkable that some of them are quite well written when you know that someone wrote 2, you know, full novels in a year. I mean, I think that
Yeah.
genre fiction, by and large, is not meant for the ages. It's not meant for posterity as sort of perfectly honed prose. They're meant to be page turners. You know, they're a place to sort of relax and get carried away, swept away in a good story.
How can people get a hold of your movie? And when will there be a screening, hopefully near them? And can we follow you on social media?
Absolutely. So, facebook.com love BTC film. And then our Twitter is twitter.com love BTC film. And Tumblr is lovebetweenthecovers.tumblr.com. And you can go to Love Between the Covers and go to the screenings page and see everywhere where the film is going to take place. You'll see distribution soon, and definitely by Valentine's Day. And ultimately, it'll be at Apple and Amazon and Vimeo, and it'll be available everywhere.
Well, thank you so much. I hope that you enjoy the rest of your festival.
Thank you. It's really nice to meet you.